well. Thank you. Take a nice beer. Cheers.
Cheers to you, Matt Kesler.
I know.
Matt, welcome to the show as well. Cheers to you. Yeah. You guys want to start off the show with a hot take? Let's just go around the horn. I'm happy to take the first one. You guys are I really do. I wish Carl Swiderski was still in the squad. I wish he could have caught a flight. Where was when you're in Hellas Verona? I don't know where that is in Italy, but what international airport is nearby?
He's on a nice beach in Italy somewhere, probably.
Well, when that news came out that Hellas Verona, because the club is broke and doesn't want to pay $6 million for Carol and that news came out, I thought, what's the nearest airport? Let's play with it. We got some revenge tonight.
Direct flight right to LaGuardia.
Direct, yeah, that's how that works.
Newark. Yeah, there we go. Okay, already a New Jersey reference, and then it in London.
Cheers to everybody. Thanks for joining the show. Dan Bracken, what do you got?
Not that hot of a take, but I'm worried about Emil Forsberg's masterclass tonight a little bit. I feel like when we lose games or draw games, when we play well, because there's one play on the pitch that just outshines everyone. And I'm hoping that's not Forsberg's game.
I will say Charlotte scored a goal. How about that as a hot take?
That is a hot
had
take.
one in 5 games, so hopefully we get a goal in tonight. Do we get the W? I don't know, but at least one on the board. The lights will turn on for Charlotte tonight.
Any predictions for the goal scorer?
I mean, you got to call him, right?
Yeah.
You got to call Pat.
Call Pat?
Pat's a goal. Is that a prediction tonight? It would be a hot take that Charlotte FC scores a goal tonight.
That's what I'm here for.
Wouldn't it be?
The sad truth.
Yeah, 180 minutes plus some minutes from the previous game as well, without scoring a goal as well. We appreciate all the Tifos being here, tremendous friends of the show. Thank you so much. John Hayes, Danny Brackett, and Matt Geslin here on a pop-up pregame show. Finn's hanging out in the yard as well. Maybe he'll make an appearance on the show. I doubt it, though, because I think he's scared of you.
He is. I don't know what
I mean, look at him. I can see why. So, you know.
I'm sorry, Finn.
Oh man, but Finn's here as well. Danny Brams, I think he's going to make an appearance at some point in the Z Shed tonight. So maybe we'll pop up for a halftime show if things are going well. The equipment's already set up, so we can do it. It's just a matter of if we want to do it on this Wednesday evening. It's a full MLS slate. We've got MLS. The pregame show. I don't know what the pregame show is called, but MLS Countdown. There it is, right on cue. The director. We got MLS.
Also changes every episode or every time that they need something.
The cast or just the setup?
No, the setup and the name, right? Or is it always the countdown, I guess?
We've got 2 friends of the show up there, Caitlin Kyle, and we've got
Sasha Question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, 2 guests of the Charlotte Soccer Show on MLS Countdown. Why would you watch MLS Countdown, though, right now when you could watch the Charlotte Soccer Show pop-up pregame show? Because we're going to talk about Charlotte FC. And, well, they are too, because Adilson Milanda is being featured right now on MLS Countdown. That's for sure. Getting some love. So let's start there. Bracket. Let's talk about these clean sheets. It's 5 in a row for Charlotte FC. The MLS record is 7 straight clean sheets.
Really?
So if Charlotte FC gets a clean sheet tonight, we're talking about literally going for MLS history on Saturday over the weekend. How impressive has the clean sheet run been?
Well, you got to put it in perspective. If you said that a year ago today, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I mean, we were conceding like 2 goals a game last year. Just the U-turn this team has taken is just remarkable. And you got Adilson Milanda, Andrew Privet, who just signed a new deal. If he wasn't already playing good, he's definitely playing better now with that confidence boost from the club. And, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can put Byrne, you can put Lindsay, Ronan, who's hurt right now, João Pedro in. Doesn't matter. They're organized. They simplified the defense, and I'm just hoping that we can turn defense into attack tonight.
It's organized, but it's also boring.
It is.
Right, and that's
a good thing in defense.
Of course it is, yeah. But in general, though, watching this team has become difficult because the emphasis has been on the defense, where the front foot football seems to not be happening a lot. Matt, I thought you made a really nice point watching the game on Saturday at home, another 0-0 draw. Patrick Ajimong, his hold-up play, though, is getting better, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, obviously down at field level, you don't see – or you see more of the nuance of the game a little bit than when you're up top. And you could see that they were trying to get the ball through to him, and he definitely was holding the ball up pretty well. he was getting, and I think you guys talked about on Sunday, kind of getting beat up a little bit. Should have gotten a few calls. I think just size, the way how big he is, and you
know what that reminded me of? Let me just make this analogy real quick since you brought it up. It reminds me of Shaq.
Yeah.
Remember when Shaq used to play and just get absolutely murdered in the paint and would never call a whistle just because he's bigger than everybody else?
Yeah.
Patrick Agyemang kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, but he looked good. I mean, he didn't get on the score sheet, of course, as we alluded to, without the goals, but his play is getting there, and you can see, he needs a Karol Swiderski, to go back to your point, to kind of play off of him and to kind of give him that option. He may not become that ultimate goal scorer that we want him to be, but he's doing the right things up top as a true number 9 and giving the options for the players down the wings to flank and distribute that way. So I like what he's offering. It's just, is he going to be able to put the ball in the net? I hope tonight he gets an opportunity off a cross or corner to use that size, especially in the back against this back line of the Red Bulls.
Oh, I love this pregame pop-up, especially at the house in the Z-Shed, because we're just kind of kicking back, drinking hot fly beers here, and hearing you talk about that. Patrick Agyemang having an opportunity tonight. For me, Liel Abada, he's in the starting lineup. Right, and with Liel Abada in the starting lineup, don't you think that takes a little bit of pressure off of Pat?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like a majority of our talks about Charlotte FC is there's no service to whoever, Capetti, Swiderski, Agyemang. Now we have that service on the field today. Maybe Kerwin Vargas can step up his game a little bit with the defenders worrying about someone else other than just Pat and Kerwin. So I'm hoping that elevates everyone's game. They get that first goal, and maybe you see the confidence rise and the goals start to flow. It's like being on a dry streak. Sometimes you just got to see that ball hit the back of the net, and then the goals come.
That's a great way to put it. I think Liel Abada is probably, to me, the guy, the catalyst that could make it happen. You saw him on Saturday night. He did come on. I was really disappointed when Dean Smith waited so long to put Liel Abada on.
80th minute, right?
Yes, it was.
I don't know.
I mean,
we complain about subs again, and we've had this conversation on this show before.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about subs because there was an injury involved here, right? So it's like if you only have 15 minutes to give, why are you on the bench anyway? But either way, he plays only 10 minutes, and now he's in the starting lineup tonight, proves that he's ready to go. For me, Liel Abada, without Enzo Capetti in this squad, without Karol Swiderski in this squad, although he's technically still in this squad, right? I mean, like...
Never say never.
No, but seriously, though, like Karol Swiderski is a Charlotte FC player right now because the loan deal's over.
He is. He's a lone player. He's back with the parent club. You were asking earlier, just kind of what the deal is. He is still on the roster and registered with the league as a player for Charlotte FC. It's just a matter of how quickly they want to integrate him into the system. Is Dean ready to give him a chance, even though he was willing to kind of move on and say, I don't want to play here anymore? I think that's going to be the bigger piece, is how do they integrate him back into, after 6 months away, getting him up to speed with what Dean's been trying to produce and develop with the squad. But without doubt, his skills and his goal scoring is needed right now. You can see that. And the longer that goes, the more value he has and can kind of dictate what he wants to do with the club and say, hey guys, you need me, I don't need you. And that's kind of where we're at with him, it feels like at this point.
Now I'm drawing a blank here because I remember Poland was in the Euro playoffs. Are they in the tournament?
I believe
it was against Wales.
They qualified. Wales did not.
So he's going to be on that plane in a few weeks. So
yes.
He's probably either.
No, that's correct. You're right. Like he's not. I mean, when I talk about Karol Swiderski playing tonight and still be on this roster, this is all tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when the news broke earlier this week, it was you had to read between the lines. If you didn't really know how to read a news report, you would have saw that Karol Swiderski and Hellas Verona couldn't agree on the buy option. It was not a mandatory buy at the end of the season. If they remained in Serie A, it was an option to buy. And deep down in that report, and this is how I would say, everyone's attention span these days is about 10 seconds. You just have to read like the fourth sentence of the report to realize that they were probably going to loan him again. And they were going to, and that's what they wanted to do. They weren't going to pay Charlotte FC $6 million, but they're going to pay Charlotte FC something to loan the player, maybe take care of his wages. He's not coming back. There's no doubt about that. But that's neither here nor there. The point about Liel Abada tonight, whether Karol Swiderski can be in the lineup or not, is that he takes some pressure off of Kerwin Vargas, who hasn't really been performing and Patrick Agyemang, who's been playing well, but he's just kind of like a lone target man striker with long balls trying to find him for 90 straight minutes, which is to me not. I don't think he wants to play that way.
I agree, and there is a little wrinkle here with Abada. Not only is he back from injury, but the man was engaged this week.
Oh wow!
Maybe a little extra to play for.
Maybe a little perspective.
Maybe.
It's we talk about a lot of times on the PGA Tour. When
a
player has a baby,
yeah,
they gain a little bit of perspective. They go out the next week and they make some money because they got a family to take care of. Now all of a sudden, all about it, he's gonna pay off that ring.
He does.
He's gonna make sure
I'm sure that his salary with FC, is, although we didn't. Well, did they announce it last week in the release? But I'm sure he's doing okay.
I mean, you've seen David Tepper and the way he's paid the salaries on this team. We typically rank in the bottom 10% of salary.
I'm sensing another plug for Agent John Hayes here with Pat.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's coming.
We're
next.
really working on the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're working hard on this deal. I mean, the fact that Andrew Privet, God bless him, he gets the deal signed. But I mean, as Patrick's agent, what I'm saying in this situation is
hey, everyone's getting paid now except
you
want
to lock up a center back, but you don't want to lock up me, the star young striker.
The 1-9 we have, literally the only 9 we have in the entire squad is just remarkable. But
my phone's going off. It looks like Pat's calling real quick.
He's in the changing room right now. He's watching the show.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
He's like, listen, if I bag 2 tonight, what does that mean for the asking price?
Some extra
on
bonuses
Monday when we hit up Zorn.
Exactly.
But dead seriously though, I think if we want to get into the Agyemang conversation, and I do, in regards to Patrick Agyemang, for me is playing hardball. I'm not saying he is playing hardball. He should be playing hardball. Because if you look at the club right now, it's like, okay, if they bring in a DP striker, fine. Like all of a sudden, it's tough to play hardball in that situation. You just paid somebody else, and a DP striker comes in, and you get relegated back to the bench. Then you go play hardball with another squad.
Mm-hmm. There is a risk though, right? That he's got to start producing, and that's part of. We all love Pat, and jokes aside, like he's got to put the ball in the net though to have some type of conversation, leverage, and value for the club. And I think that we all want that to happen for him. We want him to be successful, but in order to have that hardball game, he has to start putting in the net, regardless if they bring in a DP or not.
Well, Dean's system's not helping him.
No, absolutely not.
He's not getting the chances, and when he does get the chances, he does put the ball in the back of the net. That's the difference between him and Copetti. Is Copetti had the same exact chances at Pat. They were rare, admittedly, but at the end of the day, Pat was the one who put the ball in the back of the net. So I agree with what you're saying. He needs to up his numbers, but, I mean, having a DP out for a month and a half and then just nothing going forward has not helped his case at all.
Hit us in the comments. Thanks, everybody, for watching the show. Over 100 people watching live. I appreciate everybody being in here right now watching the show. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think the score will be tonight. New York Red Bulls, right? Let's just dive into this match a little bit and talk about, the 11-on-11 tonight. This is Charlotte FC's second biggest rival after Atlanta United, I would argue. And the reason for that is because Charlotte FC makes the playoffs last season and has to go up to Red Bull Arena, doesn't get the job done. New York Red Bull, also the team that has knocked Charlotte FC out of the U.S. Open Cup in the past. Charlotte FC not participating in the U.S. Open Cup. That's a whole other conversation this season, but that has happened in the past. New York Red Bulls knocking, I think it was the first season, Red Bulls knocked them out. And I'll remind everybody.
Chippy game.
Very chippy. It was Birmingham Legion that knocked Charlotte FC out the next season, but we don't have to talk about that.
Let's not.
We do not have to talk about that.
Gotta love the cup.
But tonight, New York Red Bulls, good side. And a side that presses high. What's the system clash tonight, guys? You guys talk football tactically on Full-Time Roundup. It's a clash of systems tonight, isn't it?
Heavy metal versus a brick wall. That's what it is.
Yeah. It sounds like a Pink Floyd song.
Yeah, no. Another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see, and we've talked about it before, and you guys have talked about just the possession, the way that Charlotte plays, and the passing and change of field, right, and lack thereof. I think, especially with how Red Bull plays a high press, you're going to need to kind of get some of that, away from that pressure and break that line down. I think you were on the podcast yesterday with those guys. They were talking about some of the way that Red Bull play, and I think it'll be interesting to see kind of what Dean looks at and how he breaks that press. This is probably one of the first times that they've had to play a style like this under his management
Totally.
in MLS. So, coming off a hard-fought game against the Union on Saturday, ran to a midweek also on top of that. So it'll a second lineup, if you will. We probably think Saturdays are the primary lineup, and Wednesdays kind of that secondary lineup. So it will be interesting to see how they break that press down, though, for sure.
Well, you mentioned more of the lineup, and everybody watching the show probably knows the lineup right now, but secondary lineup, if we want to call it that, I think that's fine. Brant Bronico's in. Brant Bronico gets the start. That's somebody that we identified when he didn't see the pitch on Saturday against Union with a midweek match and then another match on Saturday. That Brant Bronico was somebody that was going to come in and play 90 minutes tonight. Do you like him against New York Red Bulls, a pressing team? How does he kind of fit into the system this evening?
I actually texted you in the chat. I said I can't wait for Bronico to man mark Forsberg all game long and shut him down. It seems like Dean loves to really defend and park it in and have Bronico in the lineup for away days, and then at home it's when you can kind of release Pekovic and be more attack minded. So I feel like it's a very defensive minded side. But like you mentioned here, with the full press and what I told the Seeing Red podcast yesterday is I don't think Dean... Guest spot.
Is that a humble brag right there?
No. Just,
there's no such thing as a humble brag with David Braggett.
Just referencing that I think we're going to play direct route football. This is going to be long ball galore. We have Abada, we have Vargas, we have Pat, all athletes up top, and we're going to just see Wesley just shooting them diagonals across the pitch.
I'm going to challenge you guys to think of 3 words tonight for the match, and I've come up with my 3 as you were saying that. And my 3 words are bypass the press. Bypass the press. Bypass is one word if I believe it is. Yep. Bypass the press. Yep. If I'm thinking about what Charlotte FC needs to do tonight, how Charlotte FC gets a win, they have to bypass the press. They have to say, fuck it, we're not going to pass through this situation. We don't have the skill set to do that. We are totally not set up for that. And it's like looking in the mirror and just being totally willing to accept exactly who you are. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we've accepted Dean Smith and the way he coaches this side, even though, and I'll drop this here now, I haven't said this on the show before, that we basically are Burnley Football Club here at Charlotte FC this season. And, yeah, if the results happen and the points continue to pile up, fine, we can live with that. But Burnley Football Club is, before Vincent Company took over, that is, probably one of the more
pragmatic
and boring squads in the league.
Yeah.
Ben Mee, James Tarkowski, back when, those.
And guess who was there, by the way?
Ashley Westwood.
Yeah.
If we're doing 3 words, I have mine in the great wordsmith that was Will Ferrell. They got to keep their composure tonight.
Oh yeah.
That's not 3 words.
Keep their composure.
Okay. Yeah. Just making sure.
Keep your composure.
I'm testing you.
No, but it was the way that you said it wasn't 3 words, but I knew what 3 words it was. Of course, bracket.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you all that.
There's always one. No, they got to keep the composure with the press, and the way that they're going to find their outlets. If they get a little chaotic, that plays right into the press, and that's recipe for disaster. So find those outlets, find those that safety valve, if you will, and you should be able to break and get on and like you said, long balls deep gives you a little bit of relief on that pressure too.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was thinking about survive in advance, but I decided to go long balls galore. That's mine.
That's a great line too.
Yeah.
You said it before. You said it when you're breaking it down. Go dance with what brought you here. Long balls galore. I think that's smart. Bypass the press. Send a lot of long balls and keep your composure. I think, if you're going to give a pregame speech, you might as well use all those.
We just did it. We just gave the speech for them. They must have it on in the locker room right
Apple
now.
Apple TV, just pull it up.
Exactly. Speaking of Apple TV, we've got Apple TV on out here in the Z Shed. We're going to watch the game here. Hopefully come back for a bit of a halftime show. Get Danny Brams on the halftime show. Fun to hear from him about the first half and talk about what this club needs to see in the second half. They just did a numbers segment on MLS Countdown, and the question was over 0.5 goals tonight in this match. And I'm curious what you think about that.
Over, but not by much. Maybe I'd see max 2 goals. max,
Well,
maybe 1.
0.5 over 0.5.
Yeah,
If you
so
see
over.
two, that's pretty good. I mean,
I mean that's easily
that's
over.
easily over.
Yeah.
Over, easily over.
Easily.
I don't know if the scoreline is going to be in our favor, but I think there's going to be a couple goals in this game, and maybe we'll do a prediction later. But
the prediction's coming because I mean it's 7:30. The game's kicking off in about 8 minutes here. We appreciate everybody who's watching us here for a pop-up pregame show. Just made that term up. We didn't promote. Well, we did it a little bit. We said, what did we say it was going to be what kind of pregame show was it? We were going to go hard in the paint, something like that. Something like that. We're going to do a heavy hitting.
Oh, heavy hitting. There we go. There we go.
A heavy hitting pregame show. So as we get out of here, we're going to make predictions. But for me, when I think it's so easy right now to be like, yeah, Charlotte FC, 5 clean sheets. They don't give up goals on the road. Like, if Red Bull scored 4 goals tonight, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Manuel had a hat trick against us last time, so
Right.
I mean, the guy is just on fire against us. He's definitely been looking forward to this game for weeks. So I'm gonna say 1-1.
Okay.
Just keep it close.
Another player I wanted to mention on Red Bull is John Tolkien. John Tolkien to me is that every franchise, every club has a player that they really hate, that they despise. And to me, it's Tolkien, the New York Red Bull player who last year in the playoff match, 2 assists and a goal. In that U.S. Open Cup knockout game where they knocked us out, he dominated the pitch on that night.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's in the starting lineup. I'm going to assume that he is. And the reason why he is in there is because he plays his fucking ass off against Charlotte FC. I'm concerned about him tonight bombing down that left side and really causing issues for Charlotte FC in that pressing. But he's going to be a huge part of that high press, right? You can't high press unless your fullbacks get after it too, right?
Just signed a new deal too, so he's here to stay and he's feeling good. I'm sure he's going to try to get a nice statement headline today.
Speaking of new contracts,
Agent John here. Come.
How about Andrew Privet, right? He signs a new deal, and it was almost disaster for him on Saturday night against you. And almost put that that own goal that he almost scored.
He did almost score a goal, though, and I did say that he was going to have a big night after we were there for that. And I think it's a huge signing for 2 reasons. I know we're running out of time here. The show's getting close, but there's a couple of things that we'll get to later in the season. I think Malanda is getting a lot of attention from European sides as well with the way that they're playing, and so locking in at least your one of your core 2 with Andrew Privet, the way that they've been playing, I think is a huge plus for the club to have that safety net if you do lose Malanda in the summertime and with the transfer window opening for Europe soon.
That's a great take, and I think a sobering take, thinking about Malanda potentially moving out and what the future looks like. We don't want that, though, do we?
No. I mean, I would tell him it might be summer. Like, I'm prepared to lose him at any time.
David Tepper does like money, and if somebody comes in with a nice price.
22 years old, French national.
Lost money on Capetti.
Do you think someone would spend $6 million on Adilson Malanda?
I think it could be. I mean, I could
see
be
it.
more.
I could see it.
Could be.
I said $6 million because it's what Hellas Verona wouldn't pay for Carol.
No, I could definitely see somewhere in Italy paying for that, or not Hellas Verona, but somewhere, a little Bologna, something like that, playing, which we've covered before on our show, what they've done and the business they do. He's getting attention, and when you get call up for the French national team, you're doing something right. They're pretty strong internationally, and so. I've said it before to you guys last year. I think Malanda, for me, it was surprised he didn't move earlier. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially with the window opening in a couple of days after the Champions League final on Saturday.
You can hear more of these global football takes on the Full-Time Roundup podcast, a great podcast co-hosted by my friends here, Danny Brackett and Matt Geslin. Make sure you check out that podcast feed. There's going to be a lot of discussion this summer about global soccer. We've got Copa America kicking off soon. We've got Euro 2024 kicking off soon. We've got the Champions League final on Saturday as well. And there's this thing that opens every summer. It's called the transfer window, and there's going to be a lot to discuss there as well. And it's silly season too. Coaches being hired and fired all over the place.
Yes, we have a lot to cover on our show.
I can't wait to ask you about Chelsea.
We'll table that for this weekend. But we'll have an episode on that before Daniel goes to Europe. He'll be in Germany, so maybe some content for you guys over there for the Euros. But we'll cover it all on our side.
So you've got 1-1. You've got
I'm not going to make the fans happy here. I'm going to say 3-1 Red Bull. It's a matter of mathematics. I think at some point the floodgates open and too many difference makers. Emil Forsberg, Tolkien, a couple other guys, Emmanuel, like you guys mentioned, for Red Bull. So we'll see what happens. But
I think they score 3 as well, but I think Charlotte can get 2. I've got 3-2, maybe with a 2-2 draw.
Fun game, though.
I think it should be fun tonight. It's a midweek banger, tired legs. Both teams played on Saturday. Go out there and get it, right? It's like you got to show something tonight, right?
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity. If this really is truly going to be one of our biggest rivals, I want to see some attitude. Yeah. And Ashley Westwood's been somebody. One of my favorite moments of the season so far is when Ricky Puig was bossing the game, and Ashley Westwood was trying to do what Puig was doing, but couldn't really get there. He's not that young, doesn't have the legs in him anymore, but instead of going toe-to-toe tactically, Westwood just went in his face and just like started to boss him around and started to get a little physical with him, talk some trash. So I expect to see that from Ashley Westwood tonight.
He got in a little row last week too.
He's been playing with a chip.
Yeah, he has. I love to see it.
Yeah, me too.
No yellow cards tonight.
Yeah. No.
It's Charlotte Soccer Show, pregame pop-up. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thanks so much for joining the show. We're going to end the stream now. We're going to watch the first half of the match, and maybe Danny Brams will show up. Is Danny Brams going to show up?
He said
he's never not going to show up, right?
Okay.
He said
he'll be here.
First route football all the way here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll see Danny Brams at halftime. Until then, cheers. Thanks so much for watching.